And tonight, a rough road to recovery. An ABC57 News special investigation into the allegations of abuse and misconduct at the now-closed Praxis Landmark Addiction Treatment Center in Mishawaka. ABC57 investigative reporter Kevin Wormhold has been following the story from the very beginning for us. Kevin?
Thank you, Brian. The fight with addiction is a constant battle within. Taking the first step in admitting you have a problem is a major obstacle to overcome. Having support is a key component in defeating the disease, and many of those that went to Praxis in Mishawaka for that support feel the facility failed them, leaving them on a rough road to recovery.
60,257 Bodner Boulevard. Alarm response.
Praxis 60257 Bodner Boulevard. Meet your complainant in a blue Elantra will be parked up front, stating that she was a patient there for 4 weeks and another patient grabbed her while she was there.
27 Unit 2 Assist, 60,257 Bodner Boulevard at Praxis. Fire department's out on scene requesting PD, advising another possible arrest.
Many rapes have happened there, and the first rape was covered up, like they cover up everything or try to.
That's just how I felt, like I was treated like an animal.
A unified call for change. St. Joseph County Police, ex-employees and former patients, all applying pressure to shut down the Praxis Landmark Recovery Center in Mishawaka permanently. Kelsey Farver worked at Praxis and was part of the original staff that opened up the facility in August of 2022.
I want this place shut down. It needs shut down. It's not a treatment facility. It ruins lives.
217 emergency calls just this year. Reports of overdoses, multiple rapes, and a violent stabbing. St. Joseph County Police Department calling this facility behind me a strain on the department, prompting a call for it to be shut down. 3 patients getting treatment at Praxis in Mishawaka died within a week in early July. St. Joseph County Sheriff Bill Redmond releasing a statement on July 13th stating, regarding the 3 recent deaths at Landmark Recovery, we want the public to know our department has repeatedly attempted to work with the Praxis staff and the Landmark Recovery Corporate Administration since August of 2022. One of the final and most frustrating aspects has been the lack of cooperation and respect for our responding officers. On the same day, St. Joseph County Public Information Liaison Troy Warner sent this email to the Indiana Family and Social Services Administration, which states, in our opinion, the facility is vastly understaffed, undersecured, and the facility is dangerous. Praxis typically have 125 to 160 patients and less than 15 staff. Praxis has 0 security measures. No one coming or going is checked for drugs or weapons. County authorities called for the revocation of the Mishawaka facility's license. St. Joseph County Police releasing call logs and redacted incident reports from emergency calls at Praxis. The documents shed a light on incidents that led to county officials to take action. Former employees standing in solidarity with the patients have expressed their support for the center's closure. Among those voices, Cheryl Hollingsworth, a former assistant director of nursing at Praxis. A recovering addict herself, Cheryl played an instrumental role in the facility's mission to take on the poorest patients relying on Medicaid for payment. She revealed serious shortcomings.
We were not prepared to open. Okay, when we didn't have cameras. We did not have any security. The nurses' stations were open.
She says the facility's chronic understaffing created a volatile and unsafe working environment.
The patients were kind of running the show, if you will, and because we couldn't be everywhere and being so short-staffed.
Cheryl says there were also problems with medication administration. Detoxing patients face delays in receiving crucial medication, leading to unnecessary suffering and complications.
Patients could wait days. They needed their medication, now.
And she claims contacting the police required asking higher-ups, slowing intervention in critical situations.
There were assaults. There were a couple of sexual assaults. We basically had to get permission to call the police.
Permission to call for help.
Yes, sir.
As state officials moved closer to shutting down the troubled facility, former employees and patients started speaking out. Some even took legal action. On July 26, ABC 57 News obtained a copy of this lawsuit filed here at the St. Joseph County Courthouse on behalf of 9 former Praxis patients. Allegations of endangerment, medical malpractice, negligence, and seeking punitive damages. The patient's lawyer, Trevor Crossan, believes the problems at Praxis stem from being understaffed, fostering a toxic environment, and having poorly trained employees.
The screening process is where it all starts with these facilities, and the screening process, from what we understand, was headquartered out of Houston, done via Zoom, so none of the potential patients were adequately screened, adequately patted down for drugs.
Ben Steiner is one of the former patients involved in the lawsuit, a Marine veteran and a business owner. He entered the facility on June 2nd, seeking help for mental health and addiction issues, but he faced significant challenges.
I never saw a doctor the entirety of my stay there. I saw my therapist for the first time 2 weeks in. I saw her one more time 5 days after that, and then my final appointment with her was canceled. The mental aspect of it was just completely pushed aside the entire time.
Ben says patients were left to handle violent incidents on their own, with no staff intervention.
If a situation like that came up, it was up to patients to police ourselves and do what needed to be done.
Joshua Harvard was a patient at Praxis in early July when 3 people died there. He tells us when someone died, all the patients were isolated to another wing and no staff was there with them. Joshua still has trouble processing what he went through.
I'm having nightmares. I don't sleep much. If I get 2 hours of sleep a night, it's a good night.
He told us he personally broke up 2 fights because his staff just stood by and watched.
One of them was 2 patients fighting over romantic involvement with one of the staff members. Was the first one. The second one, I couldn't tell you what it was over. I just knew that I had to break it up because no one else was going to.
Both former patients claim their experiences at Praxis made getting and staying sober even harder.
It made the path to recovery very, very difficult.
You're not in there just playing a game, you're fighting for your life.
The Praxis facility in Mishawaka and 2 others had their licenses revoked by the state of Indiana on July 26th and closed their doors on August 3rd. Hundreds of patients forced out and workers furloughed. CEO Matt Boyle then announced a petition to reverse the license revocation on August 4th, telling ABC 57 News, quote, "On Friday, August 4th, 2023, Landmark Recovery of Carmel LLC filed a petition to stay and reverse the decision of the Indiana DMHA to revoke certification of our facilities in Carmel, Bluffton, and Mishawaka. We believe the facts gathered in the petition tell, for the first time, the true story of what happened." Internal email communications from Matt Boyle, shared with ABC 57 News by multiple sources, contained strong language and accusations against St. Joseph County Sheriff Bill Redmond, the state, and former employees, characterizing them as liars. The email starting with, quote, "We are at war," end quote. We reached out to Matt Boyle. He declined to comment for this story. The road to recovery from addiction is challenging, and leaving treatment can be risky for many patients. Joshua Harvard remains on his path to recovery, determined to overcome the obstacles he faced during his time at the Mishawaka Praxis facility.
That was my first time in treatment, and I'm glad to say I'm still sober today.
Now, the attorney representing the original 9 patients, Trevor Crossan, tells me more former patients have reached out, and the number of plaintiffs has grown to 37. ABC 57 News will follow the pending lawsuit as well as the petition to reverse the state's decision to revoke Praxis licenses. Live in studio, Kevin Wormhold, ABC 57 News.